And on that note, partnerships are critical to the success of our work at WEstjustice. Over the years, we've been fortunate to work closely with a number of youth services through schools and the youth hubs, and this includes Youth Now. We are co-located with Youth Now at the Sunshine Visicare Hub, a successful multidisciplinary place-based multi-partner model. Beyond our day-to-day work together, we've benefited from the expertise of the CEO, Colleen Bergin, across several of our programs, including her participation on the steering committee for this project and her involvement with the Youth Crime Prevention and Early Intervention Program Steering Committee. Colleen has a long and extensive experience in the community and education sectors. She's been CEO of Youth Now for 20 years, leading the organisation in provision of quality employment services and adult education programs for young people. Colleen has a strong commitment to social justice for young people and ensures Youth Now is innovative in its response to youth employment. A testament to this is Youth Now's advocacy to government for alternative youth employment solutions and Youth Now's award-winning Busy Centre for Unemployed Youth. Colleen is always generous with her time and is a modest, insightful and inspirational leader. We've recruited Colleen on a number of our steering committees, and I'm sure that she looks at the phone with some degree of apprehension when she sees my number, because it usually means we're recruiting her for some other activity, including this launch. But we are really fortunate, Colleen, to be working with you and Youth Now. It's with great pleasure, therefore, that I ask Ms. Bergin to turn on her microphone and camera and present on her role as part of the steering committee and her expertise with regard to youth employment.
Thank you for that welcome, Melissa. I'd also like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional owners of the land on which Youth Now is located. And I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to just briefly go through some of the points of where we put some of these action plans into practice. Youth Now is an organisation in Sunshine. We work with young people up to the age of 30, and we try to make sure that we can ensure a better future for all of our young people. The next slide, thanks. Now, our purpose with our young people is to build their skills training, so to make sure that they have a brighter future. We deliver education and employment services, yep. And basically we'll do anything we possibly can to make sure that our young people have services that they need, not just the services that we think that they need. So that's where we try to be innovative. We try to be relevant to our young people in our responses to their issues. With our services, we always try to link them together. So education and employment, or training and employment, are not separate. They are together. They get wrapped around into a holistic service for our young people. And that's the important thing about Youth Now, is that we've got a few strings to our bow with our careers, with our training, with our employment, and we can wrap it around together to help our young people. Next slide, thank you. Now the question is, who are our young people? Our young people are from the western suburbs. They are from all of our local government areas where, yes, we know that there's disengagement. Yes, we know that our young people have a number of barriers that people from the other side of town may not have. But we also know that our young people have got quite high aspirations as well. Our young people see futures for themselves. The main issue is they don't know how to get there. They don't know what the steps are. They don't have the networks. They don't have the family. They don't have the ones who can help direct them to be able to get to the next step. Our young people, ours are aged 15 to 30 at Youth Now. They're unemployed or they're underemployed. Sometimes they're doing casual work and they don't have enough hours to give them an income. Our young people have qualifications as well. It's interesting that in the western suburbs, there are more young people with qualifications when you take into account accredited training than anywhere else. A lot of young people have, an armful of qualifications. It doesn't always help them get employment. With young people who come to Youth Now, a lot of them are doing work for the dole activities, and quite a few of them have got degrees and double degrees, but they don't have employment because they don't have the networks and they don't know what the next steps are. And that's where Youth Now tries to assist. What we're trying to do is find them employment, but find them sustainable employment as well, and help them on the journey. Now, sometimes we know that a young person will take any job. That's the beginning, any job to get started. Then part of our role is to do the B, find the better job, the next job, which is a better spot for them. And then the C is then we'll be looking for a career for them. So it's the ABC of employment. Sometimes it's any job to start with, then it gets better, and then we get into the career because they're learning all the way along. The next slide, please. So what do we deliver at Youth Now? We deliver transition to work, employment service. Now, this one is a federal government contract, and it is for young people under the age of 24. And it's got very strict requirements, we know that. But it's also got some flexibility in there for us to work with our young people, but to work with them in a better way. And that's part of what the YEP project has helped us with, is to be looking at what better ways can we be working with our young people in the transition to work. We also deliver pre-accredited training, and that's ACFI Learn Local. So we're a Learn Local provider, and all of our short courses have a pre-employment focus, so that we, again, our training is only with young people up to the age of 30, and it's about getting them ready for work and where we can link them in as much as possible with employers. We deliver Reconnect as well, which is one of the programs that Minister Hutchins spoke about, and that's a fantastic program as well. So that's again where we link young people into either education and training and take them on their journey into employment. We host Work for the Dole young people. We host up to 20 young people in our office at any one time. We are a supporter of Work for the Dole in the fact that when they come to us, we provide a program that we believe, and young people have testified to us, is a fantastic program that does assist them with getting into employment. So when it's done right, it can actually be quite a successful program. We also arrange work placements for secondary school students. So we've got that connection with employers right from early days, when we're ringing employers and asking them, will they take on a young person for work placement or for work experience. Next slide, thanks. Now, young people, this has been mentioned before, you don't know what you don't know. And our young people, there is so much that they don't know. They don't know what the next steps are to get employment because they don't have the connections, they don't have the networks, and that's where we need to assist. They also don't know, as we've said before, about what legal requirements there are on employers. They don't know in many cases because they haven't experienced a good employer who can actually show them what their legal rights are. So a lot of them don't know about Fair Work national employment standards. They don't know about awards. They don't know, sometimes they might have heard of a minimum wage, but they don't really know what that is or how they can access it. They don't know about superannuation. They don't know about long service leave. Of course, they've heard of annual leave, but they don't know how much it is or how you accrue it. They don't know about how much sick leave there is, whether or not you can take how many days in a row. There's so much that our young people need to know. One of the issues with it is when a young person does learn some of this in school, some of it falls by the wayside because they're not actually experiencing it. And we've found at Youth Now, when young people come in to actually work with us, we can actually go through some of these legal requirements and their work rights in a real environment. Some of the issues we've found with our young people when they are actually out at work is, as Frankie has reported as well, is that employers can take advantage of our young people, particularly when there are wage subsidies there. We've had employers who will take on a young person for a while, reap the benefits of the wage subsidy, and then put the young person off for some reason and then get another young person. When we do find out about these, we blacklist them. We contact as many other community organisations that we know of who are working with putting young people into employment, and we let them know that this employer is a blacklisted employer. Some of the issues they come to us that the young people don't know, sometimes parents come to us. We've had mothers come to us and say, look, we think our young person isn't being paid the right amount of money, but we don't know how to go about fixing this. So it's the parents as well, the families that don't have the connections and the background to know what the next step is. We have employers that will sign young people up for apprenticeships, and the young person thinks that they're in an apprenticeship, but the employer hasn't actually gone through to a training provider and is signed up with a training provider, so there is no apprenticeship. So we've had issues of those. Next slide, thank you. So how do we try to fix this? How do we try to make it right? Where can we put in place some of the actions that Frankie and the YEP project has recommended? So we've got a couple of things at Youth Now that we do. We include the work rights within our pre-employment skills training, within our caseworker conversations, and with some organised work opportunities that we provide. Next slide, thanks. Next slide, sorry. So within our pre-employment skills training, here we actually have Frankie training some of our young people in their work rights. So it can come from our trainers when we're doing Learn Local sessions, but it can come from guests as well. It can come from our partnerships with our other organisations. So Frankie came to Youth Now and actually worked with some of our young people, giving them some advice about their work rights. The benefit of that is then that stimulates the conversation with the young people so that we can continue that when we are actually working with the young people as well. Next slide, thanks. With our caseworkers, it's also the work rights there. So our caseworkers ask the young people about the work rights, because when the young person doesn't know, it takes one of us to be able to stimulate to ask them. So our caseworker will ask the young person about their pays, their pay slips, are they getting annual leave? Are they on a casual rate? What the information is. And then the benefit of that is that then our caseworkers will talk to other caseworkers. Our caseworkers also have the responsibility with employers. Our employers need to be educated. We've found over the years, most of the particularly small employers across the West are fantastic, and they want to give the young people the best opportunities. However, they need some reminding sometimes because they're actually not up to date with what their requirements are. So that's part of our role. The next slide, please. And then we have our busy centre where our young people actually come and work in with Youth Now. We employ them on very small contracts where they're doing projects with us, but it gives them an opportunity to put into practice what they've been learning, for us to actually give them some superannuation, to get a pay slip, to talk about the work rights and the awards, to actually, and then it all starts to gel when they get the opportunity to do some real work. And that's one of the benefits that we have at Youth Now. Next slide, thanks. So it's the partnership that makes a difference, a huge difference. We've got WEstjustice who works in with us, which helps us, which gives us the reminder to make sure that we're looking after the legal rights of our young people. And it's the organisations like ours that work with the young person, and then we work with the employer as well to make sure that they lift their game. So I know we're running to time, so I'll just make a stop there, and I would like to say a big thank you to WEstjustice and the members of the Youth Employment Justice Project Steering Committee. It's been a great project, and youth now and their young people are definitely reaping the benefit of it. Thank you, and I'll hand back to Melissa. Thank you.